how long this video is going to stay up. I might delete it later, but I used to work at Plum Island, Lab 257. Yep, that Lab 257. They told us it was animal research, just livestock stuff. Studying diseases to protect the food supply. That's how they always frame it, make it sound like we're doing something good. But the things I saw in that lab, the experiments, it wasn't about animals. It wasn't ever just about animals. First red flag, most of the people I work with either didn't ask questions or knew not to. Those who did ask too much, let's just say they didn't stay around for too long. Contracts pulled, cleared out like they never existed. We get shipments in the middle of the night, no labels, no records. I'm talking live animals, sometimes already mutated. Sometimes they weren't even species that we have names for, and I know that sounds crazy, but I've seen things that look like they weren't even from this planet. Hybrid creatures like something out of a movie. We weren't just testing viruses, we were engineering them. Modifying bacteria, adding genetic sequences that shouldn't even be compatible with human DNA. At one point, I was assigned to a project that involved ticks. Yep. Those ticks. We were told it was a control study to understand how disease spreads, but what we really were doing was testing how to make the virus spread easier, more contagious, more invisible. A few months later, the first Lyme disease cases popped up across the water in Connecticut just out of nowhere. Coincidence? Sure. Then there were the containment breaches. We weren't allowed to say the word leak. If something got out, we call it a displacement. You see a mutated deer foaming at the mouth on the shoreline, that's a displacement. You see some wild creature, unalive, looking like it got stitched together from 4 different animals, displacement. They always had an explanation, always just enough to keep you paranoid but not empowered. That's how they keep you quiet. I shouldn't be saying any of this. I've already seen 2 people disappear after talking too much. Plum Island wasn't just some animal lab, it was a test site, a lab rat farm. And the real test subject, they never stayed on that island, said an alleged whistleblower of Plum.
Libby was rescued from a contract testing organization known as Professional Laboratory and Research Services as a result of a PETA undercover investigation. 2 weeks after we brought the investigator out and released the footage she had taken to the public, it was so horrendous that the laboratory shut its doors and released all 250 dogs and cats they had been abusing. When I think about how Libby was treated inside that laboratory, it breaks my heart. She's been tattooed inside her ear with a series of letters and numbers, which was her identification inside the laboratory. Of course, she had no name.
Animal experimentation is just bad science, and worse still, is actually hindering the development of treatments that benefit humankind as well. So on both scores, it is something that we should be consigning increasingly to the history books.
I'm very grateful to my honourable friend for that intervention, and he's absolutely right. The evidence does demonstrate that animal testing has very, very little benefit. I think we're in single figures of the number of percentage points of the number of tests that have gone from being successful on animals to being successful in humans. It is a waste of money, and therefore we should be increasingly looking to consign this to the dustbin of history.